This is Chris Kelly with your Peak Trainer 1 Advanced Mobility Circuit. All right, by the time we get to our Advanced Mobility Circuit, we're assuming the client is either fairly active, moves well, has a decent movement screen, and now we're looking at more multi-joint exercises to just warm up quicker, get the full body moving, and prepare us for whatever we're doing that day. Whereas the beginner warm-up is more corrective in nature, meaning we're trying to clean up asymmetries and different things. This is more active in nature and is preparing us more for specific activities like squatting, pressing, whatever we might be doing on that particular day. Right? You'll notice that some of these drills are the same, okay? And some are just progressions of what we were doing before. All right? So this will be not completely new to the client, and that's why we always teach the beginner warm-up first, is because this is a quicker transition. This stuff just kind of progresses what we were doing. So our first exercise is a Spider-Man. Okay? For this, I'm asking the client to come into a push-up position, bring the foot way out to the side, press the elbow into the ground. The key with this is that the heel stays on the ground, right? I don't want the client off their toes. And you'll see another area that you'll see is the foot turned out, all right? This is like being at the bottom of a squat. So I want the foot pointing forward, and I want to ingrain that proper motion in order to be successful. So again, elbow to the ground, push the knee out as far as you can, looking for 10 on each side. All right, from there, we move into a squat stance. All right, squat stance, just going to grab my ankles, sit back into a deep squat, hands come up, and I come up. All right, and some areas you'll see in the squat stance. You'll often see the feet turn out, okay? And that's something where, again, when the body doesn't have that mobility, the person is going to be looking for it elsewhere. So we always, see people squatting like this and walking with duck feet. That's oftentimes going to be due to tightness in the hips. So what we want to do is cue the client to grip the ground with their feet, keep them forward, and you'll see a significantly less range of motion with this, okay? So if it's here for the client, then that's where they begin, all right? If they have issues with going overhead, you can simply have them reach forward. Another trick that I like a lot with this is that I give them a counterbalance, okay? Instead of having them grab their own ankles, maybe I have them reach down to a box, and this helps to kind of just pull them down into this deep squat position and come back up. So I can progress from something like a chair down to a step, down to, grabbing my ankles or even my feet. So what I want you to realize is that these drills are progressive, okay? If a client does this over the course of 6 months, they're going to get much better and gain much greater range of motion versus changing all the time, all right? So that's why this has value as well. Now, our next drill is an inchworm, all right? With this, simply crawling backwards, pressing my heels into the ground, and coming forward. I walk out into a plank position and hold for a second. So this is kind of combining both the ankle mobility drill that we were working on with a downward dog as well as a traditional plank exercise. And with that, we want them to keep a flat back versus doing this where they come up and then they come down and they arch, right? So I want them to walk out, flat back, abs are tight, squeeze the butt, hold for a second, and then walk back up. For our next drill, we have split squat. All right, split squat is just a progression of the half kneeling hip extension. So with this, come to a split stance. I'm going to drop my back knee down the pad or whatever I'm using and come back up. All right? Here, I want to keep the knee behind the toe. So what I don't want to see is the knee coming forward. Okay? If I do see that, I'll just put the client against the wall. All right? So I come here, I drop straight down, and I tell them to just keep the knee behind the wall. Don't tap the wall. All right? From there, the last two exercises in this are a reaching straight leg deadlift, which is a progression from the leg lowering. All right, with the reaching straight leg deadlift, just need something to hold on to here. We'll start assisting where the client's holding onto a chair. Okay, and just reach forward. And the biggest error that you'll see with this one is that the hip turns out as they're reaching forward. So I reach forward, and it kind of looks like the pelvis is going, sideways. So what I'm going to cue the client to do: twist the foot in, keep everything nice and straight. For some clients in the beginning, that might be their range of motion. Okay, and again, we just want to progress so eventually they can get their back flat like a table. Now for that, we can simply move them off the chair and add variety by standing on one leg. We can do reaches in different directions. Okay, so there's no reason why these basic patterns can't change. You can add, rather than doing a Spider-Man where you do 10 on each side, you can alternate sides. Okay, rather than doing a simple inchworm, you could do an inchworm where they're walking forward. You could add a push-up to it. But the point is that these drills, these basic shapes and patterns, are addressing all of the major movers that we need to get ready for the workout. Now our last drill is going to be a wall slide. All right, with the wall slide, I'm simply going to come up against the wall and slide up and down. All right, just in case you didn't see me there, I'll just press my back into the wall, tighten my abs, and just come up and down. All right, again, that is just simply a progression from the floor slide. So I move from the floor to a seated position on the wall, eventually to a standing position on the wall, okay, which are progressively more difficult and require less support. Now, once I've done that, everything is pretty nice and warm. The last thing I'm going to do is just a simple set of band walks and band pullbacks. All right, so we did the plank, or we did the glute bridge as glute activation in our beginner warm-up. Now I'm just going to move to a standing position where take 12 steps to one side, 12 steps to the other side. I'll ask the athlete to do about 2 or 3 laps just to really get that in their butt. And again, I want to keep my feet apart. I don't want to come together. I want to keep tension in the span the whole time. 12 steps down, 12 steps back. Okay, and then I end with band pullbacks. All right, band pullbacks, palms are going to be facing the ceiling. Simply squeeze, pull back, squeeze shoulder blades together. And generally with all of those, we're performing that as a circuit. You know, we're going 10 reps each, 10 to 15 reps each actually. And you know, if the client is sore or needs to work on specific things, you can perform several reps of this circuit or a particular drill. But that's our advanced warm-up, and this is what we're teaching all of our clients as they move through this process.